Okay. That pretty much sums it up. Hello. And let us begin. Let's actually test the audio. Testing. Oh yes, muted, of course. Oh yes, muted, of course. That's more like it. It's working. Good, good, good. That's more like it. It's working. Good, good, good. Love the echo. Enough of that. Love the echo. So I begin as a quiet type. I just need something to talk about. You could say that. I'll be responding to chat eventually. Or if I have something to say I need to get off my chest, I'll probably talk about that. And in the meantime, this will be my main primary means of expression. Just doodling away, doing pretty much what I like. And yeah, that'll be a beginning, I'd say. Just a beginning. So let's get to it. Oh, actually wrote on the background. Oh well. Fixed. So this does happen to be my favorite, my favored art program, and a program called Paint.net, currently owned by Microsoft, but it's available free of charge also. And in my opinion, is a fair upgrade from Paint. It's just my lifeblood in terms of communicating. Not much of a talker, hence the awkwardness in actually utilizing my vocal organs. That's pretty neat. Right, so let me think. What am I going to draw today? Or what am I going to draw about? That's also a thing. I suppose I could make this kind of an introductory thing. Makes sense. Makes sense to me. So, what am I about? Or what am I to be about? Well, love layers. Perfect for positioning things. Oh yeah, cam is on the way. That's something to mention. When it will get here, I have no idea. Hopefully within a month or so. But I figure not having a camera isn't a good reason not to stream. This was also meant to stream on D-Live. I'm not sure why that's not working. I set the sample rate to 2. So yeah, that's the thing. I'll figure that out later. It's just great to have a functioning stream. Can't tell you just how much trouble I had with the audio a few days ago. Trying to figure out why stream wouldn't pick up my microphone, even though it was picking up in the software. Then I realized was channel was an issue for at least streams at least. Always set it to channel 1. Or at least have everything on channel 1 in addition to any other channels. That's a lesson learned. Then, when that got sorted, I had an echoing issue. I followed all the tips I could get at the time, did a bit of research, and then I had a sickening thought. I had left a stream window open, so I was literally hearing myself being streamed, which basically accounted for the echo. So that was fun. It was hilarious, but it was fun trying to figure that out. So yeah, that wasn't the first day. So this is really, session 1, so to speak. So where do we begin? What am I about? And to a point, what will this stream be about? What will future streams be about? Well, on the one hand, I am a fan of games. Let's start with something. Ah, wrong tool. I said games. Let's give it a nice different color. Now, as far as games are concerned, I've played a couple of games in the past. Anybody who looks up my YouTube channel would basically see that I've done a bit of work in terms of gameplay videos. And when I say a bit of work, I'm talking about, you know, editing and trying to look cool, trying not to suck, trying to be worth the watch, trying to be at top of my game, so to speak. That's not really what I'm about. I mean, it's not what I'm intending on being about anymore, because trying to get to be kind of like the top of your game, it's a lot of pressure. Top aspirer. High pressure. Sure, I suppose it's related, but let's make it separate. Lots of anger. I've been angry in the past. I've been hecka angry in the past. And I'm quite happy I didn't have a microphone and I didn't have a camera. So what level of anger am I talking about? I'm talking about near shrieking levels of anger. But I'll get to the reasons why in a moment. Still not justified, mind you, but it's anger. Anger isn't about logic. It doesn't have to make sense. It's all about being caught in the moment, caught in the sheer volcanic eruption level frustration of trying to be more than regular, I suppose. Which brings me to the next point, as Healthy Gamer would put it. Ego. Healthy Gamer GG. High ego. Ironically, goes both ways for confidence. I mean, at times I end up feeling like I'm at the top of my game. I feel like I'm really pushing it, really pushing the limits, being quote-unquote impressive, being a PathForger. But at other times, I crash and burn. now spoken about my negatives, and my negative traits of being a top aspirer, but there were a couple of positives, and I think it's only fair to mention them. I never cheat or cheated. How do I qualify the never cheat thing? I mean, okay, let me clarify. It doesn't mean that I won't min-max, that I won't optimize gameplay, but that's not entirely true either. No. I have to remove that, and I'll tell you why in a bit. Making this sound like I'm giving myself psychotherapy. Wonderful. That's a wonderful start. Okay, let's get back to it. So, okay, I sometimes optimize. And by optimize, I mean, you know, playing relative metas, things like that. But I never party. And in some games that's a death sentence and pretty much explains all of this. Let's just say that when you don't party in certain games, this goes up way high, and you end up with a raging flame of raw anger. Yay for undo. Yay for paint.net. So yeah, there's that. Let's see, anything else? I'm going to name this as a positive. I am highly stubborn. Is it a positive? I don't know. But it does mean that I'll play a game literally to death. Well, the word literally was too much, but okay. Figuratively to death. I'll play it way longer than I should. In fact, speaking of another game, a game that I will never mention out of respect for you. Self-harm. And what do I classify as self-harm? No, I don't catch or anything of the sort, no. However, talking about, you know, these moments of ego and anger and ergo rage. Which obviously does breed its own level of toxicity. But not just, I mean, it's not really just, I mean, there's definitely a level of toxicity to whenever I did rage. I mean, sure, yeah. Times when I manifested sour grapes. But it was more salty rage. So it's more a matter of, you know, salty triggered rage. So what do I mean by that? And I realize I'm going way into this whole top asparagus thing, and that's kind of, yeah. It's taking a lot of real estate in that image. Looks like I might need to expand. No problem. Anywho, when the kinds of things that would trigger me in a game are specific situations where opposing players would... Oh, well, yes, 3 situations. 1, opposing players would play the broken meta, not just the meta, the broken meta. The, I wouldn't say auto win, but you're well on your way to automatically winning by playing the meta option. That is one thing that triggers me. Another thing that triggers me is meta stacking, and meta stacking is one of the biggest reasons why I'm anti-party as far as games are concerned. So I really should put that down. Okay, physical. 1, 2, 3. So let's call it a hyper meta. So I'm talking about imbalanced meta. And meta stacking. Party to win. The third situation where I'd get pretty ticked off is suspected deliberate poor play on the team, you know, griefing. And I'll also explain that I can personally tolerate really bad play on teammates' part in games that don't punish the individual for their teammates' failings. And the games I've played, basically, well, the game I played, which really triggered me a lot in that regards, tended to punish good players, even though they performed excellently during lost matches. So, yeah, there's that. So how do I put that? So, griefing. Let's call it ranking sabotage. So there's that. Yep, this definitely needs a bigger image. So let's take care of that. really want to make it that big? No. Let's go for 50% increase all around. Of course, that also means everything else is smaller to see, so there's that. So let's move on to the next topic. So, is that all there is to games? Far from it. However, it's a definite aspect, let's call it. That pretty much fits, so let's see. On another level, I'd rather isolate this, so yay! Isolating one of the more toxic elements of what I've been. Well, mostly. So that goes there. What next? Ah yes. Another aspect is game design, an aspect I've always been somewhat interested in throughout my life. And this I would itself split into two sections. One I'll call digital game design. And the thing with that is I cannot code to save my life, so that sucks big time. So yeah. Basic, Pascal, Python, C#. GD script. And probably a couple of hours I keep forgetting at the moment. All of these have been fails. Which has kind of sucked. Kind of sucked really bad for me. I'm not giving up on it, but I'm kind of forced to be quote-unquote realistic about my expectations. On the other hand, I mean, digital game design isn't the only thing out there, right? There's other things. Might as well use the space somewhere or whenever. Well, there's tabletop game design. That looks kind of terrible. Let's try again. Game design. Looks a little better. Excuse me. What is there to say about this topic? Well, more than digital game design. Thing is that there used to be a time that I felt that I was good at one thing and only one thing, and that was game design. But being good at something and being an achiever at something are two different things. So yeah, at this point I'm an aspiring tabletop game design. No. Let's try to make it all fit in here. So, when I say I'm good at game design, I have a focus on game mechanics. I mean, when you talk about D&D, for example, when you think of D&D, it's about the story, it's about, you know, the amazing artwork that comes with the works, the high amount of customizability, the ability to make a character your own, the ability to live out a story, an adventure in a fantasy world, or possibly science fiction, a world that is quote-unquote better than our own, or perhaps even worse. Well, I get stuck in those little mat rocks. That's what I get stuck in. I get stuck in those, I get stuck in numbers, I get stuck in rules. That kind of, you know, it kind of defines what I am in that regards. Anything is possible. You just have to find the right rules for it. So there's game mechanics, and that's a very big part of what I'm interested in. I'm also interested in creating narratives, although I must admit that takes a backseat to mechanics most of the time. I've recently become more interested in artwork and design, but I'll talk about that later because there's more stuff before that. I mean, I could, you know, could make this kind of a summary list of what game design incorporates, like, you know, things like level design. Or by level I mean geographic design. Oh, by the way, I'm also a big fan of balance. Oops, I kind of missed that one. Okay, no problem. It seemed interesting. There we go. Let's see, what next? I suppose I should mention artwork. My style is, do I have a style? Let's call it unrefined. I'm a big fan of procedural generation, which kind of ties into game mechanics. And I'm sure I can fill this with other stuff. I don't want to force it in, so I'll probably come back to it later. But later, Space too big. Gotcha. So, okay, fine, let's go up. And so let's say that was game design and games. I still like games, mind you. I do still like games, in spite of my negative experiences with games. I do like games. While I'm at it, I suppose it's not the worst idea to mention a few games that I have played and would not steer people away from, because, you know, they're bad or anything, or evil, such as that game that I kind of managed to injure my arm due to. How do you injure your arm due to a game? Rage. Thump a desk hard enough, and turns out you can actually inspire yourself to get, well, to trigger tennis elbow, and that's kind of not fun. And was the dominant arm too, so yeah, there's that. Not too bad though, it's just something that I have to eventually look into. So, games. Games that did not injure my arm. Well, let's talk about the YouTube channel. Robocraft also played Maelstrom. Can't recommend Maelstrom enough because it's a really good game and it's criminally underpopulated as far as players are concerned. It's also free of charge to play, so if you like ship naval battles and such, it's really worth a look. So yeah, give it a look. Maelstrom by Gunpowder Games. Robocraft is more of a creative think Minecraft, except it's robots, building robots with Minecraft-like-ish bricks, and you get to fight each other in teams. And in my case, get a bit salty about things. Yeah. So, Robocraft Maelstrom. There's also Drone, but it's not a free game. Drone the game. Yes, the dots are mandatory. So yeah, there's that. Moving on. Oh, I suppose I could mention a few games I've played in tabletop category. So, tabletop games. Oops. Well, I've played some D&D, fortunately. Let's try that again. Come on, you can do it. That's more like it. D&D, mostly 3rd and 5th edition, but played a bit or 2, just a bit. 3. Didn't play 3.5 for the most part. Tiny bit of 4, and fortunately more recently 5, which is a really nice addition. Also played some Savage Worlds. Some Warhammer. Fantasy. Role play? Wow, that's really readable, legible. I'm probably going to look back at this video one day and say, oh wow, that was a thing. That was a first video. That was a first stream. Probably be able to laugh at myself. Anyway, moving on. So those are roleplay systems. I've played a few more one-offs of other systems that I can't recall the name of. Been interested in GURPS, but never got around to playing GURPS. Other tabletop games. So, games I've enjoyed playing. Unpopular, but, well, considering times, but Pandemic. A damn good game. Damn good cooperative game. If you play just one game with friends, make it Pandemic. It's a good game. Also some Settlers of Catan. Really like that game. Let's see. Give me a sec. I'm just gonna take a look because I kind of forgot the name for a moment. Be right back. Back. So, some Takenoko. Also, a really nice game. Those are the main games I've played. I've played very, very precious little post-human. Thing is, I can't really find players to play that with. I know I can play it solo, but I never got around to that. They all have their ups. Of these, Pandemic is definitely the best. In my opinion. So, that's covered. Let's see, what else? So, I've spoken about games. That wasn't a bad start. Not too bad, anyway. Hydrate. So, is there anything else for me to say about games? Let me think. Games, game design. I must admit I've done a lot of reduction, self-limitation in terms of gameplay. That's kind of a thing. Okay, so that pretty much covers games. Let's call this next section art. Although you wouldn't think it based on this. Or let's actually call it creative. I do realize I need to give this a bit more space than I'm giving it credit for. So, how do I get creative? Well, first of all, well, I suppose this kind of ties in with this. So, yeah. Working on, well, at least one. Well, okay, let me just be very clear on this. Let's call this its own category. Game design, which I'll kind of tie into this. As it kind of belongs. So, I'm primarily working on a tabletop RPG. How do I fit it in here? So yeah, it's something I'm working on. I've made a number of attempts to make games in the past. I've participated in a few game jams. Let's call it other tabletop games. So yeah, there's that. Oh, what did I do? That wasn't right. Ah, okay. Layers. Right. So aside from game design, a relatively new interest is art. And in this regards, I've dabbled a little in Blender. Just managed to, work out, 3D modeling and such just a bit. I wouldn't say I'm really competent in Blender, but I'm not saying it'll never happen. It's kind of unlikely, but I'll kind of get into it. More likely to get into vector art. And as an aside, I would suggest that Inkscape is a really good vector program to work with. Also interested in I guess raster art, which is very loosely what this is all about, I suppose. This kind of raster art-ish. Very, very loose interpretation of art. It's more of an infographic. Also kind of interested in video editing. And just a smidgen of sound editing. As a side note, the latest, this is looking really terrible. And does not need to be so. Let's fix that. Oh no. Oh yes. Oh no. Oh cool. Made it. That's more like it, yes. Okay. This can afford to go down. Again, I suppose. Works. Just a smidgen of sound editing. And as I was saying, the latest Maelstrom video features more sound editing than most. It's worth just a glance if you're interested in Maelstrom in the first place, or just seeing me take sound around for a spin, I suppose. Yay, I can make the border now. So pretty much covers that. Another element is let's call it invention. This will be enough space for that. Or is it generous? Yeah, probably generous, but it's okay. Well, let's see. What have I invented? Well, besides certain systems and such, I've also invented my own dice. Pretty unique dice. I'm not going to elaborate more on that. And yes, it's a pain in the butt to try to find manufacturers. Because it's kind of important. Let's see. I suppose that's a pretty good. It's coming along nicely, this whole, you know, infographic? I don't know. So, what would the third tier be? Oh yeah. Interestingly enough, not much Coming out badly. Not much writing. Pretty sure I got that butchered the word, but okay. Writing. Not much writing. It also should be noted that I've never actually published a game. Kind of like Jerry. Loser. Yay! I'm being very kind to myself. Oh wait, one more. Loser. Exclamation mark. But moving on. Where were we? Oh yeah, the third tier. I'm gonna put this down as lifestyle? Lifestyle. That works, I guess. And I'm calling it the PathForger lifestyle. Now, why on earth do I call myself a PathForger? It's very difficult for me to call myself that, specifically because I've done so much losing. This music is just a little loud. Next. I'm gonna say yes to this. Rolled hit. Oh yeah. PathForger lifestyle. Sounds pretentious. It may be so. But I do think that I haven't done nothing to even modestly earn that title. And when I say earn a title, it means that to me a title has a certain importance to it, a certain responsibility to it. So, what does it mean to be a PathForger? Or, what does it mean to me? Oh, incidentally, PathForger predated Pathfinder. Not at all inspired by Pathfinder. And I'm pretty sure PathForger was too small a thing for Pathfinder to be inspired by it. Yeah, PathForger became a thing in 2006, I believe. 2008 is the most official use of that name. 2007, therefore, let's say 2007 is a pretty safe bet as to its existence. 2007 sounds about right, although I think it might have been all the way back to 2006. Pathfinder came out in 2009. Lurking in the shadows, PathForger. Well, so let's get back to PathForger, or I should say lifestyle, because I'm in very slight danger of getting sidetracked by myself. What does it mean to be a PathForger? It requires a mix of things. Let's do a bit of white. No. Let's do a bit of pale blue. It takes a bit of giving a damn. I'll tell you this much. It doesn't matter how good you are, it doesn't matter how many resources you have at your disposal. If you don't give a damn, it counts for naught. Because the bad people win. By default. When I say bad people, I'm not talking about particular parties, I'm just talking about people out there who are perfectly fine causing detriment to others for their own personal gain, at best. Sometimes just do it for the lulz. Or so it seems. So, giving a damn. Solution thinking differs from problem solving. But only very subtly so. Solution thinking, perhaps it's easier to explain it as problem solving. It's just so subtle difference. Actually, let's put that to the side. Problem solving. Self-awareness. Very important. And why is it important? The importance of self-awareness is activation or activism. But activation is not necessarily activism, so I prefer to use the word activation, self-activation. A person who's activated is more alive than a person who's not. A person who's self-activated, who's self-aware, is more likely to take action when action is needed than a person who is not. A person who is self-activated is a player character, while a person who is not self-activated is an NPC. Figuratively speaking, but the comparison is pretty similar. It's pretty on point, in my opinion. I'll be clear, giving a damn does not necessarily require a charitable disposition, although it can include a certain amount of charitableness, charitability, excuse me. I'm going to expand problem solving with future thinking. Now, what is future thinking? It's not simply about, you know, hoverboards and green sky scrapers and things like that. You know, anti-gravity belts and all that. It's about taking this and being more proactive about it. The notion that you need to have a problem to be able to activate your brain is not optimal, and this music is not quite my type, my cup of tea. Moving on. Like it. Oh. Did I say I was the quiet type? Seems I found my voice sooner than I thought I would. That's interesting. But there's still black space to be filled. So, future thinking, problem solving, self-awareness. What else? There's definitely more. I just have to think of it. In terms of this particular area. Beyond self-awareness. Oops. That's beyond self-awareness. Purpose. It's perfectly fine if you think that you don't have a purpose, or if you don't know what your purpose is. Plenty of people go through their entire lives not having a purpose, and guess what? They tend to be happier than those who seek purpose. So yeah, PathForger lifestyle, giving a damn, this kind of stuff, not the happiest of lives, I must admit. But as of all things, there's trade-offs. Is there anything else to be said of giving a damn? Let's see that. Let's leave that for a moment. TikTok. So what's next? Still got some space to fill. Cool colors. Should use warm colors. Let's go for yellow again. So, what does it mean to be a PathForger? I think I pretty much summed a lot of it up already. Just giving a damn is really all it takes to be a PathForger. Of course, there is more to it. And, as obvious as it may seem, it's about forging paths. Duh. Forging paths. Better than I thought. So, forging paths. How do I explain this and how do I tie in to it? Okay. A path in this context can mean various things. It can mean forging a path of your own, whereby you literally choose your destiny. You become a PC of your life, where you take charge. It could mean breaking new ground, invention for instance. It could mean revealing a way that has not previously been considered, which is kind of what I have always aspired to do in everything I've ever done. Simply being different, or trying to be different, trying to stand out for some reason or another. It's kind of been my thing. It can be many things. And not everybody needs to forge a path. In fact, many of those persons mentioned down here who for some reason or another haven't found their purpose, I would argue that they're doing just fine not being quote-unquote PathForgers. But that's not a life for everyone. Some of us just we need to make a difference. Now, why do we do so? Nothing wrong with looking at motives, right? Well, I'll talk about motives in a bit, but let's write down a few things mentioned before. It can be, so I mentioned forging one's own path. Mentioned, ooh, that's a really ugly looking bee. Let's try again. Breaking new ground. Oh, excuse me. Revealing a new way. Oh, it's ugly again. Let's try it again. Way. And yes, that can include forging new paths. So yeah, there can be, I mean, why would a person forge path and so on and so forth? Why would somebody want to be different and all that? Standing out is undoubtedly an ego element, but one could argue it's ego used in a positive way, to positive effect. Of course, this is presuming that paths forged, ground broken, revealing ways are for benign purposes. But not all persons will have such. That is going to be the case in any, let's call it organization, any path, any way of thinking, any group. There will always be differences in opinions, differences in views, differences. I like this color, let's move on. So, what's next? Is there anything else I'm missing? Well, probably yes, but I'm running out of space. When speaking about PathForger lifestyle, I end up talking about it upon a disassociated level. I'll leave this playing. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. In the meantime, I suppose I could zoom out a bit. Just a little. I'll be right back. Alright. Thanks for waiting. I'm back and we have a section to fill. Let's see. First things first. That looks obnoxious. That looks just a little less obnoxious. What else? So considering starting a comic at some point. Maybe. Oh yeah. Something to mention here is I'm aiming at this being freely available. Because why not? But let's continue. Yellow, green, yellow sand. What goes well between these? Pink, of course. So what goes here? Lifestyle, PathForger lifestyle. What's the last part that we can fit in here anyway? Pass, giving a dam. That pretty much covers it, but let me take a step back for a moment. What do I want to fit into that section? Doesn't even have to be part of the lifestyle, it can be something separate. So I've got games, creative, I've got lifestyle. What else is there to me? I don't really get into professionals, professional designation and stuff like that. That's kind of pedestrian. Thinking about it. So let me think, what am I going to do on stream? I mean, what's that last slice gonna be? What do I want? Still thinking. Nice music. And it's getting louder. Liking it less. It's okay though. There's definitely something more to me. I just can't put my finger on it. Still thinking. Come on, brain. Do not fail me. Do not fail me. Okay. I suppose I can. Add this without too much trouble. I have some semblance of a personality. Personal opinions, thoughts, and such. It's kind of reductive, really. I mean, okay, let me be very clear. I am a thinker. I am a pseudo-intellectual. When I say a pseudo-intellectual, I mean a person who, to some, wouldn't qualify as a This sounds like a video game. Wouldn't qualify as an intellectual. This is very distracting. I will tolerate it. Arcade. Sounds very arcade. That's cool. So, this actually does very slightly tie into the PathForger lifestyle for the simple reason that I kind of, to a very small, modest degree, kind of, sorta, maybe adhere to the lifestyle in the way I think also. Maybe. possibly. Don't hold me to that though. So, anyhow. Let's talk about me for a moment. I'm a person who... What? I can tolerate this for another minute. Next time I'll pass. So I'm a person who's quite patient, which is not what you'd kind of expect with this kind of repertoire to be this. So yeah, let me call myself even-tempered. It's kind of like personal traits rather than personal opinions. If I see it turns out that way, it's probably going to... Anyway. So my opinions will obviously filter out over time, so yeah, I don't think opinions are really what I should talk about just yet. Absolutely not. I kind of like it, even though it's a bit loud. Moving on. So personal, let's call them traits. I really like Pretzel Rocks, but I do think that this is, well, it's kind of flooding the chat. I know that it's the free version, so, And that probably wouldn't, you know, this actually, that's very interesting. Pretzel Rocks looks more cluttersome to me than it does to anybody else. Okay, that's fine, because it fades after 20 seconds, I believe. Okay, so never mind, just forget what I just said about Pretzel Rocks. I mean, Pretzel Rocks is a great service. It's great to have non-DMCA liable music. And I kind of really dig some of these tunes. It's really cool. So I think we're heading to into the home stretch for the stream. This introductory stream. So I'm even-tempered. Unrelenting. I think that's very fair. I have a never give up attitude. I will not bow to power. I respect leadership, I do not respect pocket tyrants. So, there's that. And I've kind of proven this practically. Even-tempered, unrelenting. Fair. Unfair in disposition. Am I forgiving? There used to be a time I would say very much so. At the moment, not as much as I used to be. So I'm not as forgiving as I used to be. I'm pretty forgiving. I'd say imperfect enough is not to mention it. So, what else? Fair enough. It's just a little too crumbly. Let's augment that. What else? What are my personal traits? Personal qualities. That's a word that I get called a lot. I am a student of consistency. And I consider consistency, that looks kind of terrible. Consistency, that looks much better, to be a way of life. A desirable path. What's my alignment? I suppose that's a fair question to answer. Excuse me. Lawful-ish. Goodish. That sounds about right. So by ish I actually mean between lawful and neutral, and between good and neutral. Somewhere along those lines. That's taking real estate though. Let's see if we can put that somewhere more fitting. Actually. Alrighty then. What else? That's about right. Last one. Let's see. Is there anything important I've not covered? Cool tunes. Ah, yes. Maybe not the most exciting trait to finish up on, but I'm a sentimental person. So that's pretty okay. We've got a few gaps. Let's see if I can fill that in with something meaningful. So I've got 4 areas. I've got personal traits, I've got PathForger lifestyle, let's call it lifestyle. I've got personal traits, I've got lifestyle, I've got creative, I've got games and game design. I count them as the same, kind of. Let's see, what should I fill those inner gaps with? I suppose. I'm a dreamer. I want pretty okay. An aspiring personality, let's call that. Fine. Okay. That works. Thinking. Thinking. Lifestyle and games comes in between. Just trying to inspire myself. Still thinking. Still thinking. What to place here? grudging dreamer. When I say I'm a grudging dreamer, it's that tiny bit of an acknowledgement that dreaming hasn't exactly been the most beneficial activity for me. But at the same time, I wouldn't have it any other way. So, there's that. Last but not least... probably not least. Come on, think. There's one space left. There is one space left, right? Yep, just the one space. Still thinking. Was secluded the right word? Nah. Introvert. Oh. I have had periods of pessimism, but that doesn't quite cover me at the moment. Like skeptic to a point, yes. Ambivalent. Modest doesn't quite cover it. No, not quite the modest type. Not exactly. Thinking. Come on, think. I guess I could call myself that. That should be kind of fair-ish. I am kinda wordy. That's kinda fair. And that pretty much covers it. Yay! So that's my self-infographic thing. Kind of like a bit of an introduction to what I am. That's funny. That's just funny. Intrographic it is. Saved. Okay, so that about covers that for today. I think that was a pretty decent first session. Kinda, I guess. Thank you for watching, for joining in this little journey of self-rediscovery. I mean, it's not very flashy, it's just an honest self-portrait upon a different level. Not particularly artsy, not particularly, well, it's not very visual, it's kind of visual, but not at the same time. It's an infographic, sticking to the simple thing. So, it's an infographic. And yeah, thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure going through this, and we'll see how it goes. I'll just, get on next time, and probably get a little more artsy about things. This was more of a wordy infographic thing. I have no idea I'll be doing something like this again. It was fun though. It was kind of fun. Kind of therapeutic, I'd say. So, that being said, that's pretty good. With that being said, actually, I've been up to stuff. Fine, let's do it. Let's go. Can't miss the wall of text, surely. Oh, almost did. think this. I have a sneaking feeling that's not optimal. I think this actually is visible on stream, so that's good. What's less good is the whole cropping thing, but okay. So, yeah. Let's see how that goes. Let's see if it gets cropped by... Stream it a bit. I imagine this is coming through. Well, yeah, so that basically covers it. So, what can I be summed up as? To a point. So, a part of me is about games, and by extension, game design. A part of me is about creative pursuits, including game design. A part of me is about, once again, games, and being very serene about it, depending on the kind of game. No names. No way, it's not the game was recommending against, but yeah, it does have a bit of that in there. Okay, this is way too loud. The heck? Loud, 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 loud. Okay, this seems better. Okay, let's get back to it. So, let's do this again. So, about games, about, you know, being serene about things in spite of the type of game, no names mentioned. I'm a grudging dreamer. I kind of take it against myself for dreaming times. Not the most serene of personalities, I suppose. Although that being said, that doesn't mean I'm a rager. I'm not consumed by rage. Very even tempered and all that. I am a quote-unquote PathForger. I give a damn, and I do my little bit to forge paths. I have my personal traits, including being hey, even-tempered, and I am a student of consistency. I'm creative, interested in a bunch of things, but I'm mostly going to be focusing on raster art, possibly a bit of vector art. I am developing my own tabletop RPG system, which will have its interesting traits and will have its interesting, unique elements to it and foundation, or at least relatively unique elements of foundation, including dice. Moving on. Although dice won't be free because, you know, materials, la la la. I'm an aspiring tabletop game designer. Lots of failure, but I still try. I like games. Pity I can't design any of them. At least not digital anyway. I'm kind of wordy. I say a lot, talk a lot. I'm an aspiring personality. I guess that's one reason why I'm here. And in case people are wondering, watching this afterward, yeah, main reason there's no cam is because I don't have a cam yet. So yeah, that's about it for me, and thank you once again for watching. I'll not sure when I'll be streaming next. It could be next week, could be the weekend. As they say, the first step is the hardest, so we'll see where we go from there. So yeah. So thank you once again. It was wonderful to was really interesting to share some time with you guys and girls. I know that I'm not the most interesting personality you're ever going to meet. However, I guess I'm a little bit different. I suppose that's not a shocker. That's not too bad. Maybe it counts for something. And so, closing up, and have a great week. Bye bye.